Aloha, y'all. It is Thursday, like I was saying. Thursday, the 21st of January, ruled by Thor. It is a throat chakra day, a lot of going on. White crystal mirror guided by heart, according to Mayan Dream Spell. And it is, like I said, a Vishuddha chakra or throat chakra day. So this is about speaking truth, hearing truth. Are we open to it? Do we speak it? Do we hear it? Do the mudras, do the mantras for the Vishuddha chakra, the throat chakra, on this throat chakra day. You will see some magic occur, and it's actually kind of cool. Today we got two podcasts. One with Aquarius Roberts. I think he's a Scorpio, though he calls himself Aquarius Roberts. Kind of like Gemini Brett calls himself Gemini Brett, though he's a Scorpio. Scorpio is doing some weird shit out here. Um, and the Leo King, David Palmer, is coming on, so that should be great. So the astrology, though, is pretty ratchet as we right now. The sun and moon. Is this right? Hold on. It's saying the moon's in Aquarius. I'm like, is it though? I thought it was just a Taurus. We having glitches up in here. The sun. Oh yes, Haley says it so much better than I do. I say aloha y'all. She goes aloha y'all. It's really great. Love you, Haley. Sorry again. Yeah, okay, there. I'm glad I redid that because that was a glitch in the matrix right there. So the sun is in Aquarius, the moon is in Taurus. I kept on beating home yesterday that it was going to be in Gemini. That was a mental fart on my. I just didn't think. It's been a while since I've done these. So sun Aquarius, moon in Taurus, Mercury is in Aquarius also. Venus is in Capricorn, Mars is in Taurus, Jupiter and Saturn are in Aquarius, Uranus is in Taurus, Neptune's in Pisces, and Pluto's in Capricorn with the North Node in Gemini. Ultimately, it's the sun and Mercury, Jupiter and Saturn in Aquarius, Moon and Mars in Taurus, and Lilith, I should say, is in Taurus. So that's pretty intense stuff. We have a lot of electric, chaotic, mental energy going on with our values, our embodiment, how we feel in our bodies. It can be pretty ratchet right now. As Haley could attest, I've had even a weird morning myself already. Not ideal, but that's life. So let's go ahead and get some card action for today. We have the Princess of Wands, which I'm way okay about. Like I said, we're having the Leo King on. He's a Leo rising and a Leo sun. I'm a Leo rising. Raphael, my co-host, is a Leo rising. This is very Leo rising friendly in the sense the Princess or the Page of Wands, the fire. So if you're an Aries, a Leo, or a Sagittarius, you'll naturally resonate with these cards, or the suit rather. The Princess of Wands is as follows. It's the airy, the intellectual, very much in line with all this Uranus energy. Sun, Mercury, Jupiter, and Aquarius, North Node, Gemini. Airy, fun, intellectual, playful, part of what? Fire. Spirit, passion, tenacity, heart, ultimately heart. Think that way. Youthful enthusiasm and confidence, harnessing the creative forces around you, seeking to innovate and experiment. The Princess of Wands, I spark the impossible. A sun child, she dazzles all who meet her, young, free, and formidable. In her presence, nothing is, quote, impossible. She wipes us clean of past fears so we can create in a space of pure freedom. Her luminosity resonates, sparking a memory that we are, and all of life is, light bound up in matter. It's very resonant, actually, with what we were talking about today with the 64th Gene Key, Haley. We read Gene Keys every day, and that's talking about illumination is the city, but light in matter. All of us are kind of light trapped in matter. Her fire, fueled by breath, which is air, transmutes the heavy energy of past experience and failure, burning it clean away to release light energy. This potency can catalyze a new vision, and she is honored as a brilliant initiator. The art for the Princess of Wands arises out of my teenage interest in science fiction, Sun, Mercury, Jupiter, and Saturn and Aquarius, science fiction. So his interest in science fiction and elaborate fantastical imagery were sought to express equally complex psychological concepts. Jean-Claude Forest's comic strip of the 1960s, Barbella, with its sexually charged and mystical planetary realms, evoked the fiery tantric space goddess. The idea of space being a vast, exotic, and erotic realm, very Moon and Taurus. It's like, oh, I want to sense space, sensuality, Moon and Taurus, Sun and Mercury and Aquarius. Exotic, erotic realm was always more alluring than a sterile reality it has turned out to be. That's a presupposition. I bet it's a lot less sterile than David DeAngelis is presuming. For me, she epitomizes our capacity to infuse our reality with a mythological quality. In a similar vein, the illustrations of superheroine Octabriana, said to embody the principles of the Russian Revolution in battle against both Russian and American oppression, was a character that both me and Bowie cited when we discussed how to visualize Ramona A. Stone for the outside album look. And Russian Revolution, a revolutionary chick, that's very Aquarius Sun, Mercury, right? The Princess of Wands transmits the drive to experiment and innovate. Saturn, Jupiter, Mercury, Sun, and Aquarius, experimentation. We're mad scientists right now in our bodies, in our values. It is about the death of the old and the birth of the new. It is in letting go of fixed beliefs about how something should be that we are teleported into an open realm of pure potential. Cast your doubts and fears into the fire to be melted down and transformed. Allow the exuberance of youthful confidence and innocence to surge. You can consciously take on something that appears to be impossible and flourish and grow in the challenge. So let's step up to the challenge and grow into it ultimately. And I'm feeling that for myself personally, definitely. So Princess of Wands is about youthful enthusiasm and confidence, harnessing the creative forces around you and seeking to innovate and experiment. I'm not sure if the Leo King has done podcasts before. Maybe it's his first time doing that. I don't know. It's definitely the first time we've had him on, so that should be fun. And hopefully that playful kind of fiery spirit shows up today. It is a throat chakra day, so hopefully we all speak what we need to and learn a thing or two also simultaneously. So the clarification here is the maiden. The maiden is very resonant clearly with the princess, the maiden of fire, right? Even though this is like a page energy, it's like, okay, look, youthful energy, enthusiasm, newness, Gemini North Node. So number 2, the maiden. Let's see what this has to say, shall we? There's even a rabbit in there. Team Rabbit Hole approved. Hopefully my phone isn't glitching out too hard. I'm noticing insane chop, so I have no clue what's going on. Hopefully it's all good. Keywords are fertility, independence, self-esteem, confidence, self-expression, self-exploration, self-interest, sexuality, creativity, selfishness, which I've already been doing a little of today, codependence, and timidity. Key phrases: follow your dreams, discover your passions, focus on self-discovery, address self-imposed limits and restrictions, increased independence, seek your own answers, which is something I need to hear. I pulled a courage card in the galactic card that my fiance and I do, and it's like I have to have the courage to do my own thing, even if it's not popular, even if it's not believable or traditional or whatever. Release feelings of fear and abandonment, heard. Craving attention, needing rescue, expressing goals and desires, being true to self, and acting with empathy. The maiden walks an unfamiliar path, but does so with confidence and grace. She has been taught by those around her that it is not selfish or conceited to follow her dreams and actively work to manifest her goals and desires. So she's like, I've got a vision, Sun, Mercury, and Aquarius, and I know how to make that vision happen, Jupiter, Saturn, and Aquarius, but it's practical, Moon and Taurus. It's embodied. It's not just it's not a daydream here. It's about walking the path. She does so without needing permission from anyone. Very Princess of Wands. It's like, I diggity do what I wiggity want, deal with it, watch me fly. Like, I won't burn, I won't get too close to the sun, but you guys aren't even trying. Much like her male counterpart, the youth, the modern maiden is not afraid to ask questions, challenge the answers, and be adventurous in exploring. But while the youth explores new horizons, the maiden explores herself. The maiden is equally interested in first discovering and then nurturing her interests and increasing her self-knowledge and exploring her waking sexuality. She forms relationships with healthy boundaries and expresses her sexuality with innocent pride and confidence. When she chooses to take a lover for the first time, it will be done without shame or fear of judgment. If she chooses to remain alone, it's not because she believes herself to be undesirable, but because she does not believe that she needs a lover in order to be happy or fulfilled. The maiden card is one of youthful confidence, empowerment, and increasing independence. She is fertile, but uses that fertile nature to create, express, and explore. Fertile feminine energy used to create and explore. Very Page, or in this case, Princess of Wands. The spirit of exploration in a youthful, fun way. She is on a journey of self-discovery focused on learning more about who she is and what makes her happy. Aquarius Sun, Taurus Moon. And she knows that her explorations in the present will give rise to a future self who knows what she wants from life and is not afraid to make it happen. In the past, the maiden was expected to do as she was told and be true to the expectations of family and to society. South Node in Sagittarius. Do what the tradition says. Here's a truth, deal with it, and if you go against it, you're going to hell. Right? North Node in Gemini saying, in the present, she chooses to begin a journey towards self-awareness and empowerment playfully, through fun, through adventure, right? So we have this ability to really tap into an inner passion, and say what's possible. Impossible is nothing. And as long as we're doing it in a way that's open-hearted and from a heart space, and maybe not just an ego place, a mental place, we can go very far with that. So let's get a Galactic Heritage card. Real pioneers are ones who are like, what's over the bear went over the mountain? Why? To see what he could see, right? Not because culture demanded that expansion of the bear's territory was necessary for breeding rights. It's not like that. That's South Node and Sag. It's like, I'm curious, North Node and Gemini, to see what you could see. Complete surrender, right? Is number 70, Lyra. It's funny, I pulled a Lyra card. This is a Lyra card. The Leo Lyra King is coming on the podcast. So a lot of lion energy, a lot of fire energy, a lot of Aquarian energy. I think he has some Uranus aspects. I've got a shit ton of Uranus aspects, Jupiter and Aquarius, etc. I digress. Number 70, complete surrender, Lyra, future timeline. For aeons, the ancient Lyrans applied the masculine principle of pushing or forcing reality to conform to their desires. In order to transform, they eventually had to surrender, to let go of the need for control and trust the universe to be as it needs to be in every moment. I was having a discussion about this with Haley this morning. It's like the problem of evil, basically. It's like, do I accept that it exists, and how does one confront? How does one rebel if rebelliousness ultimately is futile? Stuff like that, kind of heavy shit. But surrender is a start. The need to be right, the need to know, the need to be in control, and let the universe be as it is in every moment. It is. Everything's in perfect harmony. Don't doubt it. This was a hard lesson for the Lyrans, as it is for you. Yes, it is a very hard lesson for me. You, like most humans, have a karmic pattern of trying to control reality. And I try to control it personally through my mind as a double Gemini. I'm like, I need to know how this works. I want to think about this. And that's problematic, as Haley can attest to this morning. It is time now to change that pattern. Practice trusting and surrendering to the universe on a daily basis, even with the small things. As you do this, you will begin to heal the ancient karmic pattern. This Lyran time stream represents the Lyran culture after they healed their karma and challenges of the past when they were young species. Specifically, this card represents the transformation of several negative traits of the ancient Lyran forefathers that kept them always trying to control reality. There is a higher plan, and in those early days of Lyran civilization, they prefer to try to push and control events. South Node, Sag, it's like, I want the truth, I want my way, even against the flow of the natural energy. This left them creating a lot of conflict and strife within their civilization. Eventually, as the species matured, they began to recognize that there is indeed a higher plan, and it is impossible to ever control events. This is very well evidenced, actually, in the TV show, which Haley's watching, but I just finished Dark. Check it out. It's on Netflix. I watched it in German, made it more interesting. Do what thou wilt. Anyway, like dubs, I'm sure are fine. Overdubbing. So, they learned to let go and ride the wave of the universe and healed their obsessive need to control. This is an extremely important card for Earth at this time because most humans as individuals and the species as a whole are addicted to the need to control and don't realize that this only creates suffering. If this came up in your reading, the suggestion is to take seriously a look at your desire to control reality and begin to learn how to let go more. Learning to surrender is a challenging experience, but it is an essential aspect of personal and planetary evolution. She's even let go. Her arms are like, okay, let's go. Let's see how big and open this gets. She's let go of staying confined. She's like exploding, right? Explode into space kind of thing. She's let go of the her innocence and her youth, right? Haley, that's funny. Well, don't do that. Drink of water, right? So she's let go of her innocence and is experiencing a new path and her openness to like life, right? But she's surrendering to the journey that is. So we need to surrender with confidence of heart, knowing that the mind will catch up eventually, and our hearts are leading the charge. North Node and Gemini. Aquarius, we can dream bigger than we ever dreamt. Don't doubt it. We've got number 22, which is a big number for Haley. She can explain why. I'm a life path 1, but I think she's a life path 22. So 22 is about learning. The sacred ibis. And this is funny because we have so much Aquarius energy, right? With the North Node in Mercury, mental ruled Gemini, and the Sun, Mercury, Jupiter, and Saturn in Aquarius, we're learning right now. We are downloading quantumly, right? So learning. The getting of wisdom takes time, so be patient with your learning and delve deeper. Continual learning is a keystone to growth. And this is very throat chakra. It's like you speak truth, you listen with the throat chakra. This isn't like knowing like intuitively. This is about like I know and I hear and I speak and you hear and we talk. Like learning through kind of transmission, if you want to put it that way. Continual learning is a keystone to growth, North Node and Gemini. You will succeed in your exams or study. While everyone has a source of wisdom within them, not everyone chooses to exercise it. If you cast magic, do it with full knowledge of the consequences. Mythos. The ibis-headed god Thoth was the most powerful god of magic in all worlds. It is said that he told the goddess Isis what powerful spells to use to resurrect her dead husband Osiris, and it was he who assisted her again in knowing the words to remove the poison from her son Horus. All books on magic and invocation were to be authored by Thoth, and this is very like high magic. Magician card is very Aquarius to me. Maybe it doesn't necessarily correspond to that, but it's like very like, as above, so below. I'm going to engineer this shit. Let's make a time machine. Let's do it with the knowledge, right? Applied knowledge, wisdom. So all books on magic and invocation were to be authored by Thoth, and those who were writers channeled his energy. He authored one book that was so powerful no human could read it without dying. Thoth was also the god of learning and knowledge, and the ibises were encouraged to be present around places of learning and libraries. The ancient Egyptians felt that the ibis was the living representation of the god on earth. They took thousands of ibises from their captive flocks, mummified them, and placed them as offerings within Thoth's temple. PETA would not approve. The animal, like all ibises, the sacred ibis is most distinctive because of its head-shaping long curved beak. They are also unusually quiet when compared to other ibis species. Ibises have bald heads, and it's funny because there's a Bob Marley song called Them Crazy Bald Heads, which is, I think, about the educated elite, like the knowledgeable ones, in a sense. It's like they're in their heads. The academics are in their heads, and they're not helping. They are migratory birds that breed in sub-Saharan Africa and Iran and have a wingspan of around 1.2 meters. Ibises thrive in marshy environments and eat frogs, fish, crabs, and insects. They use their long beaks to stir up the mud and capture prey. Fairly social birds that tend to forage for food in groups of a few dozen or more. This is probably for safety reasons and to help stir up the prey from the mud. Ibises have adapted quite well to urban environments and in some countries are viewed as being pest birds. They live for around 20 years in the wild. The magic. Sacred ibis was revered in ancient Egypt, representing Thoth, the god of wisdom and learning. So honored as a gift to Thoth, they were given full mummification and bred especially for this purpose. According to historical accounts, these figures, from figures such as Aristotle and Strabo, ibises could be found in the streets and cities of Alexandria. Ibis's magic inspires us to be curious and to learn more about the world, right? The maiden, she's curious. She's learning more about the world. The princess, or essentially Page of Wands, is playful, curious about passion, about experience, about the burning desire of the heart. And to do that properly, we need to completely surrender. We'll play with fire and get burned, and we learn from those lessons. It's better to have, experience something and learn from it than to never know and just hear people say never go into that, don't go into that door. It's a forbidden door. It's like, open the door, see what happens. It's your karma, but it's like, it's better to know personally than through hearsay, straight up. Ibis magic inspires us to be curious and learn more about the world. If we are students of any kind or wish to know a subject more deeply, we can call upon this energy. Thoth teaches us that while we can seek counseling from others, often our best and first port of call is actually ourselves. Like I just said, hearsay is cool. The wisdom of others is cool. It's one thing to be like, know about Kundalini, for example, but if you've never experienced something about that, like, it's abstract. It doesn't mean anything. It's one thing to know, people speak French, but if you've never tried to say bonjour, it's not applicable to yourself. Learn. Do the thing, right? Symbology. Man with ibis head, lunar disc, book of knowledge, Egyptian alphabet. Status is of least concern. There's shit tons of them. There were plenty of them in Gold Coast, where I was a year ago. They were basically a pest of Australia, that part of Australia, but I thought they were kind of cool. So we have the Princess of Wands, which is like saying, get up, explore reality, try things, play around, be bold, be courageous, be daring, right? Live dangerously, my friend. That kind of Dos Equis thing, right? That's kind of the energy right now we're doing. But we're coming through a place of knowing that we don't know shit. I mean, it's the princess. This is the maiden, but this is the princess. The page energy is very youthful. So it's like we need to push the boundaries of what democracy means. We need to push the boundaries of what personal, body means. What does spirituality mean to you? Learn. You're here to experience and learn things. You're here to surrender to the process of experience and learning. Does that make sense? You know everything, so let go, and then remember the things you forgot through learning. Know that you're on a path like she is, and that little white rabbits will pop up and amuse you, and you can have a fun time. Ultimately, knowing that passion is what's the driver behind all of this. Let's go ahead and get an artwork card. If any of this is resonating, like it, tag a friend, whatever's clever. Also, I'm kind of curious where y'all are watching from, because that's just always on my mind as a Gemini. Curious. I'm learning more about the people that view me. Interesting shit indeed. We've got JMW Turner as the artist of the day, the art card. So, what you got for us, Mr. Turner? He's British, from the 17 and died in 1862. Prone to his own mood swings, William Turner painted the ups and downs of nature with staggering insight. Aquarius is about the mental mind, and it's the highest mind. So it's like Geminis are the kids on the playground, Libras are the adults, talking about 401ks, and Aquarius is like, I understand DNA because I did acid and I'm Watson Crick and now I see the double helix. It's like crazy sci-fi shit. So, he has staggering insight on ups and downs of human life. Contemporary critics consider Turner a proto-impressionist for his ability to direct light and animate landscapes. Through oil and watercolor, Turner found divinity in the details. That's when I give people chart readings and stuff, it's like Aquarius, and I say the mantra would be, I engineer divinity in the details. I engineer and I see the fine details. He hoarded knowledge, can't make this shit up, learning, hoarded knowledge, right? And experience, hoarded knowledge and experience. The Maiden and the Princess of Wands are demanding that we not only learn about life, but do life. Hoarded knowledge and experience from his European travels, but was a recluse back in London, where he hung out mostly with his dad. Very Taurus moon. It's like, I want to stay at home. Where he hung out mostly with his dad and purportedly went into a funk every time his painting sold. Very Taurus moon. I'm attached to the things I love. I want to hold on to this. Emotionally attached to physical things. At his death, Turner bequeathed much of his extensive oeuvre to his country, both as an act of largesse and safe storage. So he's like, yo, you guys hold on to all this, and that way I know that, it'll be perpetuated forever. It's pretty smart stuff, actually. So the advice we're getting from JMW Turner is find the facts in a feeling. Find the facts in a feeling. More than a feeling, right? The Princess of Wands, the Page of Wands, is about following your excitement, following your joy, following the fire in your heart. What makes you tingle and say, fuck yeah, let's try that. Push the boundaries, right? Surrender sometimes to your spirit, if you want to put it that way. That's the process of becoming. The maiden goes from innocence to experience because she's submitted to the process of learning through life, through experience, through tasting all, I've tasted, I forget that there's some lyrics. It's like, I've tasted all the sweetest wines and, done this. I've come and dig my herb. I'm confusing all these songs, but it's like, try different shit. Try out all the flavors, but don't get attached to them. Surrender. Taste everything, but don't become addicted, right? Know that you're going through a process of maturity through experience and learning, and that find the facts. Aquarius, Sun, Mercury, Saturn, and Jupiter, Aquarius, find the facts in the feeling. So it's like, when you feel joy, why? Is your soul, watch a good movie called Soul by Disney. Is your soul saying, this is something that's giving me a spark and I need to do this? Is this part of your grand orchestration of the purpose of your life? Is this a hobby that you'll enjoy? Is this how you're going to meet a spouse? There is a lot of fun and in the details. Find the facts in the feelings. They're not contrary, right? And then with a North Node of Gemini, we're able to say, I like playing. Why? And it's not just because my DNA is telling me or I'm culturally conditioned, though. These are reasons. There's many things to it. So follow your excitement, ultimately, with these Princess of Wands. And everybody's excitement's a little different. So don't, if you love, Haley loves 80s music. And I don't dislike 80s music, but she fucking loves 80s music. And it's not quite the same passion for me. I am not hating on her for that. I'm kind of saying that's a good example. Psychedelics used to bring a lot of joy to me. I'm not sure anymore because I haven't tripped in a while, but and Haley hasn't done that before. So that's a good example of everybody has to follow their excitement and experiment on their process of learning, in their process of becoming. You surrender to your script, right? And try to find the facts and the emotional experience therein. So the stone we have, which you can quantumly entangle with, is tourmaline quartz. What it is, with both the negativity fighting power of black tourmaline and the amplifying clarity of clear quartz. Tourmaline quartz, exactly what it sounds like. It's a mashup. It's a twin, North Node of Gemini. Might just be the best stone to bring along in that often discussed desert island scenario. Who needs it? Anyone in need of a psycho-spiritual scrub. And I would say Aquarius energy has, especially with the moon in Taurus, has a tendency to isolate us. I'm in my body and I'm in my head and I'm wondering what the fuck's going on. We can be social about it, but Aquarian energy can also be very isolating in its own intellectual way. Very I'm in space alone here. So if you're feeling kind of lost in space. This helps. Anyone in need of a psycho-spiritual scrub. Where to put it? Wherever you intend to shine your brightest. When to use it? When it's time to shed the light on the vices, victims, and vampires in your life. Haley was talking about that today, right, Haley? Shining the light, awareness on the vampires, the vices, the evil. Once you have a clear view of their whereabouts, it's much easier to kick them back into the gutter where they belong. You don't have to participate things, everything, when you become aware of what doesn't work through experimentation, basically, you can surrender to the story of your life, ultimately going further on your path, not getting tangled in the same pitfalls, right? But you only learn that through experience. You only know what evil is because you're like, that doesn't sit well with my conscience. And it's not because a book says so or a culture says so or whatever. Those help inform you, help you become aware in general, but don't be South Node Sagittarius dogmatic about those things. Be curious. Be like, okay, I'm not saying go kill someone to see what it feels like. It's not quite like that, but it's like, you're never going to understand what good and evil are for you unless you experience joy and pain and from actions and decisions and stuff. So it says, restore your perfect light. And this is the perfect light of youth that princess or page, as traditional Rider-Waite would have it, of wands, the spirit of heart. Restore your perfect light. It's always there. You just have to uncover it. And the journey of life is the uncovering. You go from whole, and you're always whole in a hidden way. It's like an occulted whole. So it's like you're an eclipsed sun in your whole life. And it's like, can we move that shadow of the moon away long enough to see the thing behind it all? So let's go ahead and play some music, shall we? I'm going to play with my electric guitar today, actually. So let me get one thing really quick and set it up so that things work. All right. I think that'll work. Cool. Yeah, I haven't played my electric in a while, and it's very cold. So hopefully it's in tune. The sun is in tune, but it's eclipsed by the moon. I'm just thinking of Dark Side of the Moon. It's like, yeah, we're illumined beings. We're more woke than we realize, but we've forgotten because we've chosen to become youthful again. And that's the journey. It's the journey of becoming the Fool card. Start at 0, go back to 0. Alright, it's good enough. Just making sure it's tuned. So, Princess of Wands with a maiden as a clarifier. Oh, I hit the wrong button. Let's try this again. card's very cold. But you get the idea. So, Princess of Wands with the Maiden is kind of saying, yo, take risks, have fun, play from the heart, come at it from the heart, right? But ultimately, we need to be doing it, to learn. Not just to learn, not just to fuck around. So, we're going to have ups, we're going to have downs. You only know poison, spit it out quickly if you taste it, right? So you gotta try things. You gotta try things from the heart, and not be afraid. The maiden is on a journey of becoming. She's no longer a child. She's not yet a woman or a hag or crone or whatever. She's on journey, and it's through the process of learning that she's doing this. So surrender to the journey. There's gonna be ups. There's gonna be downs. There's gonna be all sorts of things. And while you're on the journey, find the facts and the feelings. Why do you feel sad? Why do you feel happy? Why does something bring you joy? Why does something bring you pain? Why do you think something's evil? Why do you think something's good? Restore your perfect light, though, is what it's kind of coming down to. And how do you restore your perfect light? How do you find the light, the epiphany, Aquarius, Sun, Mercury? How do you ground that, Moon and Taurus? Playfully, North Node and Gemini, and ultimately through heart. Through a willingness to participate with life on life's terms, to know that your alchemizing is an ongoing process of play. Basically, Princess of Wands, the Page of Wands energy. You're here to get on the path and look at all the details all around you, right? You're here to have fun. You're here not to just sit back and say, I know everything. You're here to say, I didn't know that before. North Node and Gemini. South Node and Saturn is saying, I know everything and nothing could change. It's like, no, walk through that door. Walk through that door like a girl on fire. And surrender to the process, ultimately paying attention to the details and asking yourself why this occurs, learning, right, through the process, restoring your perfect light, because it's been covered in ignorance, it's been covered in separation, it's become disconnected, and our journey here is to reconnect that which was already available, already there. Holler for a reading if you want. People love them. I love giving them. Like I said, Aquarius Roberts, B. Roberts is coming on. He's cool, as is David Palmer, the Leo King. That should be fun. So check out the Team Rabbit Hole podcast, and ultimately, guys, find what burns inside of you and move towards it. Because if you don't do what you're enthusiastic about, Page of Wands, North Node in Gemini, if you're not having fun and expanding your consciousness through play, essentially Aquarius energy, you're missing out. Well, that's what we're here for. We're here to experience. We're here to learn through process. That means cuts, scrapes, burns, and bruises occur, but that also means orgasms and highs and rewards and joy can occur, right? So do the thing, have fun, and I'll catch you later. Adios. Bye.